Bristol Motorcycles. In England, this bike is known as Herald, which came out around 10 years ago. Young brand, you think? Hang on. This bike was developed by a brand known as Herald Motorcycles, whose parent company, Shihong Industrial, was established in 1995. Yeah, the folks of this classic bike have been around since the heyday of Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, NU107, and the like. And amidst all that grunge, this company set up shop in Taiwan and since then has been responsible for supplying manufacturing machines to world-famous brands like Airbus, Ferrari, Boeing, American Aeronautical Company, Pratt Whitney, etc., etc., etc. Now think about this for a second. That made in Italy Ferrari you're lusting about was yes, made in Italy, but also in part by machines supplied by Shihong that were made in Taiwan. So, bits and pieces of Ferrari are made in Italy by machines made in Taiwan, in a Ferrari factory in Italy. It's just mind-boggling, yeah? Just let it sink in. Shihong invested $2.5 billion at the start, with 15 years experience before Herald Motorcycles came about. So here we are, Bristol Motorcycles. 397cc is what is stamped on the side of the engine. Teka muna, yes, I will answer the question. Can this bike legally get into our highway? I'll answer that in a bit. It's got fuel injection and ABS. To date is probably the first classic bike to arrive in the country with Taiwanese origins. It's got a single cylinder, it's oil-cooled, 4-stroke, 4-valve. It is Euro 4 compliant, ladies and gents. That's pretty good news there. With 28 horsepower at 7,200 RPM, with a max torque of 33 Nm at 5,600 RPM. It is 5-speed, with either single disc or double discs at the front, depending on the model. Can carry 15 liters of gasoline and about 1.8 liters of oil. Rear suspension will again depend on the variant. Seat height is 780 mm. Yes, the bike is definitely a looker. I mean, I like it. When it was launched in the recently concluded Makina Moto Changge, it was one of the most test-ridden bikes that weekend, with many inquiries and on-the-spot down payments.
Alright, so we left extra early today. Usually this road, grabe traffic. So I'm just glad we're cruising along the surface road. We're making good time today. Okay, too good to be true.
City riding, the Bristol can hold its own with the white, the standard one being the better choice of course if you're gunning for comfort. Pero ika nga nila, who needs comfort pag pogi ka, diba? I'd still gun for the black one or the racer any day. Pogi is pogi. At rest, the engine's pace was at a higher RPM than usual, at least to my senses, and a quick comparison between the two told me that this was the norm for Bristol.
Leaving early was short-lived, right smack in the middle of bad traffic again. So maneuverability, very hard of course to compare this to a small displacement scooter wherein obviously mas makakamaniobra ka. But it's not as cumbersome as it looks. Manageable din siya, but again it's not going to be as light. But that's what you get. The bigger your bike, the heavier it gets, right? Excuse me. But definitely you're gonna stand out among everybody when you're right here with this bike. Pogi eh. Let's talk about engine heat. Okay, so it really depends. Toto, my cameraman, used this. He had shorter legs than me. Since the shin part of his legs were shorter, his legs were down here more. So when that happened, he could feel the engine heat much more. Not like me, I have longer legs. My knees are situated above this part here, and I'm not feeling heat per se. I mean, there is some heat, but it's not like scalding. Hindi naman siya grabe na tipong, ayaw na! Now, in terms of magaang or hindi magaang na motor, it's, you know, weight is really relative. Kung galing kang malaking adventure bike or malaking cruiser, pagdating mo dito, magaang to. Pag galing kang scooter, syempre mas mabigat to. Actually, what you would want to look for more rather than weight and gaang, kasi, you know, you can always develop strength, is the turning radius of the bike, right? Okay, let's try to weave in and out. So turning radius, actually very decent. I'm getting more angle here compared to some other bigger bikes, which can help me in bad traffic. I think in its range, with its engine size and its weight and its seat height, I think you'll be pretty happy with this in the city as well.
I mean, take a look at that. It is beautiful, isn't it? We actually have the two bikes here from Bristol. The standard classic one, and we have the BR400. Looks wise, between the two, I'm gonna go for this one. And I don't know kung magagalit sa akin yung manufacturers. Pero you know what? Kung ako ang Bristol, I would actually price this more expensive kasi nangyayari ngayon, pareho silang presyo. So, I called up Bristol and said, sigurado kayo pareho sila, 208. And then they said, intro price lang pala nila yan. Meaning to say, tataas ang presyo ng BR400i. Kasi, they told me straight up, Zach, we really got this more expensive, mas mahal siya ipasok. They just wanted to, you know, give a promo. So, habang pareho pa presyo nila, alam nyo na, diba? So, what are the difference that we see? It's not just a matter of handlebars and the seat. First and foremost, the shocks. This is the shocks of the B400i. Yung shocks na standard is that. Of course, the handlebar, it's quite obvious. This is more of a standard handlebar. And these are clip-ons. The mirrors are also different from this to this. Now, riding this, getting on the BR, for the mirrors, I mean, itsura-wise, I kind of dig it. I like it. But my problem is the whole design, if you look at it on the side, instead of this going out here and your mirror sticking out here, it goes forward. So parang nandito lang yung mirror mo. So when you're looking, what I see actually is my forearm more than the road. If I bring it out naman, medyo sobra pa rin. And when I adjust and turn, I still see my arm. I mean, there's no way around it. Your handlebar is here, your arm is here, and your mirror is here. Talagang masasagap mo yung braso mo. The solution dyan, mag-clip-ons na lang kayo. Or you can find another mirror that can go here. Yung engine niya, I think, is doing really, really well in the sense na wala naman ako nakuhang problem sa kanya dati. It didn't feel like it was gonna conk out on me or anything like that. It feels proper. I think that's the word. It feels like it, yeah, it's proper. But not to say bikes in this price range, you're gonna try to wonder, apart from the obvious na nakatipid sila and they save money with labor, what are the parts here that they saved on? So, if I were to nitpick, it's the plastics here. I think that they saved money on. Pag nakita nyo ito in person, you'll know what I mean. Handlebars are okay. I think the quality is that. The grips, I would probably find better grips. The levers, I also like that. Even the quality of the chrome, okay rin siya. In terms of the gauge naman, looks-wise, okay naman siya. Although I'm not really quite sure kasi it's giving that aluminum brushed look. Yan yung look niya. But I'm not sure if that's truly aluminum brushed or if that's plastic. I can't really tell. So which means it's getting really close to the aluminum look. Kung plastic man yan. Also, maybe in future models, they can do without the digital aspect. Kasi kung classic look na siya all the way, de sana, diba? I would have preferred an analog fuel gauge. Para complete look na siya. And maybe a deeper blue color here. Warning, do not touch muffler because high temperature. It's like Baroque, you know? Or they could have just put do not touch very hot. Now, I'm looking at the welds here, not bad. Even the seams here, even the welds here, okay rin siya. So, pasok. Even the tires that they put there are pretty okay. Pretty sticky na rin. Layout is nice and simple. The little nuts and bolts, the Allen wrenches are pretty good quality. So I feel another nice touch that they put here is this metal strip going across the tank. It just gives so much character to the tank. Even the white one has it. Pretty nice. You know what? For me, this type of seat, pasado na siya. I mean, I'd live with it. I'm okay with it. Wait for my cat to scratch it up before I change it into another seat. And it's also pretty comfortable. Now, in terms of quality, the BR seat, I think, is superior over the brown one over at the Classic. It's sticky. It's nice. It feels good quality. So, I actually prefer the material for this seat. So, in terms of the IBE or Ipit Betlug effect, as you can see, while most classic looking bikes, the seat is pretty much, you know, straight. Hindi siya parang subsok like some sport bikes. So it's pretty much straight as you see. Now even here, you know, I mean, there is no even Betlug effect. Because sometimes when that line is like slanted, you know, gravity will push you towards the tank. That's when you have the IBE. Anyway, here is what a lot of people are asking. You see that? It says there 397cc. Now we have this whole brouhaha with the highway. Now to clear things up, what they look for in the highway is what is on your ORCR. So what I have in front of me is actually what is registered. And as you can see here, it says 400. So ibig sabihin, kahit sino pong magmamarunong sa kanila, sa highway, pakita nyo lang to sa kanila and it says 400. This is what they will follow and this is what will get you in the highway or not.
That's my last turn for motorcycles. See what will happen. Sita-sita lang, guys. Sama ng tingin ng gwardya.
Oo nga, sir eh.
3,000cc. Okay lang yan, tama lang nang ano sila. Pero di naman ako inaano, tinitignan lang naman. Baka dahil cute tayo. Sir!
So looking at the bike right now, I mean from the tires, tambucho, the line, this configuration truly works as a cafe racer. The standard is okay, pero ito talaga yung gusto ko. I heard with Bristol that if you're gonna order, that you can request bits and pieces to be changed. Like for example, ako pipiliin ko yung headlight, iba black na yan kung pwede. Oh, Bristol, if I order a bike, can you make that black? I would also black out the turn signals. Those are the little things that I would change. The whole plus of this whole bike, you got the price, how it looks, and it is so far so good, performing okay with me. So yeah, between the two, I'd go for this one, man. Pogi tayo, bro. Acceleration is enough for the classic rider wanting a bit of excitement. Yes, just a bit. Remember, this is a thumper with an old school design. Expect power and grit from an era when this was considered cutting edge. You gotta respect and understand where this bike's timeline is from. The EFI though gives it some refinement, taking out some gruffness usually found in old design carburetors.
Morning! Blaze full tank, 60 pesos na.
Yes sir, 60 na po.
Buti na lang nakamotor tayo, boss.
Ganda na sir eh.
Gasoline consumption. At my worst, I got around 23.338 on a very spirited ride. Throttle wide open when I could, combined with some slice and dice action through bad traffic. The brakes, I am thankful, have ABS, which absolutely added more value to this already good deal bike. They were neither stellar performing nor outwardly disappointing at the same time. It was doing a decent job. Again, my expectations were justifiably limited or forgiving. The Bristol has essentially four models: the Classic 400i, the standard one, the BR 400i, the racer version, and the Omega series for both lines. Now, all you need to remember is that the Omega series has ABS and variations with the rear suspension, and that the BR Omega Racer is the only one with inverted forks and everything else on it. Me personally, because of the price at this point, doon na ako sa BR 400i Omega. Yan ang pinakasulit para sa akin. And as I always say, ipunin mo na, then go for the best in the range. Para tapos. The introduction of Bristol in our country is a refreshing addition to an already growing big bike segment on top of a thriving classic and custom scene. With my time with it, it was really hard to fault this bike considering its price point, except for the bits and pieces I nitpicked earlier. What Bristol needs to worry about more actually is acceptance and trust, something all new brands have to deal with over the actual quality of the bike. Thankfully, because of advancements in manufacturing techniques and technology, we as customers now have more choices and more options. It's a fun time to be around in this era of motorcycles. This is Zach from Makina Moto Features. Ciao.
So this guy is riding his scooter with one hand and holding a bunch of rusty pipes on his left para siya mag-gel ski.